I remembered to record. This is a big deal. Here's Kim. Well, I'm excited to talk about Regina with the launch team. Do you guys want to dive right in, or do you have questions or anything else you want to chat about first? Kim.
Hello.
It ended too
We got room
quickly, it
tonight.
seemed.
It ended too quickly. You wanted it to be longer?
I was expecting it to get to the point where, something happened with Regina or Carolyn or something.
Oh, here.
Or Nadira, if Nadira was actually going to become High
Oh
Priestess or
yeah, because
something.
you didn't get, yeah, there wasn't really closure on like the big story, just kind of Regina's development for sure. Yeah, you will get final closure on Regina in War of the Gods, but even more so in the finales in November. So you know what happens in War of the Gods, but then you really know what happens in the finale. So I like dive into Regina and Nadira and Geraldine. Yeah, so, hey Lila.
Lila, do you have your shirt on?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get myself organized. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh, there.
It looks so good.
It fits so good. It's so soft and comfortable. It's amazing.
Yes.
That was a fun surprise to send your way.
It was. Thank you. It was so wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, I think
Well,
I need a beanie.
I have like a list of questions I'd love to ask you guys about Regina, but is there anything you guys want to talk about first when we discuss this book? Because there's so many things to talk about when we discuss this book. But if you guys want to start somewhere, let's start there because I always have questions.
Oh, hit us with your questions because it's so much easier to
Okay.
vent when we have questions.
I agree. I agree.
So my biggest question is, how do you feel about Regina after reading this book?
She reminded me of Vittoria in some ways.
Oh, really? How so?
Just the kind of challenges she had, there's a guy that she wants and how she's seen as some important person, even though she didn't think she was or whatever. It made me think of Vittoria.
Oh, interesting. I never would have drawn that parallel, but now that you bring it out, I totally see it. Interesting. I mean, it's something we all feel, right? Like we all feel like we're imposters in our own story half the time, and Regina was definitely feeling that for sure. Carol, what were you saying?
She's flipping awesome.
She was pretty awesome. Yeah.
I liked it that you
But
brought
I
out
like
the-
I like what Dana said though. I really do. There's lots of similarities there, which helps to incorporate not only the historical series, but the whole network series and everything, pulls it all together.
What were you
kind of thought I kind of thought of her as maybe a Bianca in future years. Right? See, I thought of her just as an aged Bianca.
You know
That was not good for Derek.
But it also kind of makes sense, right? Like Regina would be his kind of people. I actually was worried about that, Jean Marie. Like when I developed Regina, I was like, I had to be careful not to just typecast her into like an older Bianca. It's okay to have similarities, but I wanted her to stand on her own. And those similarities speak so strongly that the parallels will be drawn between Regina and Bianca no matter what you do. But I do love the idea of Regina just being like a type of Bianca in the future, because Regina's pretty hardcore.
She is.
She shares those like that intensity with Bianca, which is really fun. Do you no, I can't ask that question. That's about the finales. Never mind. Kim, what were you saying? Well,
I just liked how you brought up
I actually
some of her family stuff, so that it was,
Yeah.
the orphanage her parents had. She pulled herself up by the bootstraps, pretty much. To get to where she was. So
yeah, Mama and Appa. What were you saying, Lila?
I was saying that's funny because I actually never compared the two of them ever. It was
really?
like, like not once did I compare. It was, she just felt so different to me in that way, I guess. but she's, I suppose now that you say it, I mean, I can see it, but I still feel like she's so different for me.
That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah. I think I will always write characters like Bianca, right? In some form or fashion. And all of you are probably drawn to that for some form or fashion of your own reason. So there will be echoes of that in all of the characters that I write. But I'm happy to hear that people are seeing Bianca and Regina, because we want those people, but it's also fun to hear that she seems totally different to other people. Because then
I just like Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass is good. Bring on all the Kick-Ass.
We all need it. We need characters that are just doing it, right? Like they're doing the hard thing, for sure. So did you guys think that Amma and Appa, like in the orphanage, do you feel that Regina growing up in the orphanage really impacted who she became? Because if you think about her circumstance, she basically, and there's not a ton, but in my head, she was raised as the only like biological child of this like basically mother and father that's just adopting all these kids and trying to prep them for the world and turn them out. And that's what Amma and Appa did, right? They just ran it together. That was their job. They received funds from the network, that sort of thing. Do you feel like that impacted who Regina is in the story?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Terry's
I don't think there could be any way it didn't. She could see these people coming in, some of them from the Western network, not just the Northern, obviously, where they were right on the border. And she could see those coming in. And I mean, it had to impact the way she felt to try to make changes.
Much more compassionate and seeing an individual person, because I mean, each child that came in, I'm sure had their own unique personality, but yet they formed a family, no matter if it came from, like Kim said, the Western side, the Northern side, this city, that city, this, she could see them all as one. And I think that's what she's trying to do with her Northern network. Doesn't matter where you're from. And the same with all of El-Kara. It doesn't matter if it's the Northern network or the Central network or whoever. If you need help, you help them.
Yeah. Well, and like a sense of not a savior complex, but sort of,
Yeah, but in a good way, not in a negative kind of, I was hard done by because I was the only real kid of theirs, and all these. She took the honorable route, that beautiful route, and yeah, wanting to include everyone and wanting to do the best. And
yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Mike, good to see you.
Hey.
Did you get your bourbon? You got your bourbon, or what do you got to drink?
I have some sparkling water.
Yeah, buddy. Going big tonight.
A lot of water.
Actual coffee.
You actually have coffee? Someone
Yes.
at Coffee with Katie's drinking coffee. I don't even drink coffee, so but coffee with Katie is such a great alliteration.
Can I show off my board?
Yes, let's see it.
Oh yeah. Well, I gotta get mine too, since Garrett's on here.
Here, he should be here.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yes.
So
Carol,
That
Garrett.
is awesome.
Oh my God. Carol and Garrett, you did amazing. I love this thing. And I cannot wait to get it on my wall.
The name in black looks so cool.
It does.
Yes.
That's mine as well.
Yay!
Oh my gosh.
They turned out so
Love
nice.
it. Safety's number one.
Garrett reminded her too.
I know. But we know we know what it really means.
Yeah, well, you turned it around on me. I get it.
The shield is a lot bigger than it looked in the pictures. The pictures I saw, but when I get it in the shield and the stuff is so much bigger than I thought it was, and those details are amazing.
That is awesome. Jean Marie, I love that you're wearing a dragon shirt too. That makes
Oh, yes, I am.
so much amazing representation tonight. I love it. I'm so glad you showed it tonight.
I got my bowl.
Embroidered one is going away. I'm going on. My husband and I are taking a vacation, just traveling in our. But we're just going to. We're going to Kingston and then on to Ottawa, which is our nation's capital. But my brother-in-law lives there, so we're going to go spend some time with them. But my dragon t-shirt's packed.
I love hearing that. It needs to be in the world, right?
And I think my it's time to save the network again, little troublemaker. That t-shirt is also packed.
Yes. Oh, I love
That's
it.
one of my, that's my
Troublemaker.
favorite
I love
t-shirt.
that
I love that you
That's one of
still
my
have a
favorites,
Merrick
too.
shirt.
That line.
That's
may
the
or
one
may
I,
not come up
do we
again.
even have that one anymore, Katie? The Dragons Make No Promises? Is it still at your cousin's?
I'll look and see. I think we kept the dragon ones up because they were such hot sellers, but I haven't looked over there.
I couldn't find anything the other day.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, yeah. I went in and it said, we do not, I can't think what it said. And I was like, okay, maybe Katie took them off of here.
No, I'll ask Brooke. Well, my cousin Brooke just got married, and then my other cousin Jessica's husband is not doing so good, so they're kind of busy. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you know about Matt, Kim?
no, I didn't know.
Oh, his my cousin's husband he has, oh my gosh, I couldn't remember this disease name, and it came to me at the most random moment the other night, and I shouted it out. My family thought I was crazy. And then anyway, he's got this disease where it's only passed to men from their mothers. What is it, Terry? And then they develop
Leah?
what? No.
No.
It's male, I think it's recessive, but they develop hearing loss and kidney failure. And it passes through the mom. Anyway, only to males. Females don't get it. It's gonna come to me at the end of the book club, I promise. And I'm gonna shout it out and you're all gonna think I'm crazy. Anyway, so he's had hearing loss, and then he went to renal failure, so he got a kidney transplant, and now his transplant is failing. And
Oh no.
terrible.
lots of crazy stuff. So
Oh,
I'll
bless,
touch base with Brooke.
bless her heart.
Then
Well,
Brooke
like I
just got
said, I
married.
got on there the other day to look for something and it didn't come up. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. So I went to a different thing and it came up with your fantasy. But then when it went up, it said something about no longer available or something. I was like,
Okay.
well, maybe Katie pulled these off.
Yeah, if you ever see that, just shoot me an email or a text or something. Okay. So about Regina.
According to Medline Plus.
Where's this? Sorry.
Carrie,
So
I think your mic's covered.
Alport syndrome?
thank you. Alport syndrome. It was so funny. I actually think my husband was coming in to kiss me, and I was like, Alport syndrome. He's like, what? I was like, no, that's what it was. Thank you, Carol. Alport.
Sure. I just quietly questioned my Google person.
Google. Okay, so kind of along the lines of Regina being influenced by things, what did you think about Lana and Regina?
That was a little surprise.
For you?
Very.
Yeah.
What was
I
surprising?
mean, I think it alluded to, in the Forgotten Gods, didn't it kind of allude to that they were associates or knew each other or
Merrick,
something?
yeah, like at one point Merrick says Regina might know she knows Lana.
Yeah, but it wasn't that well.
Yeah.
Well, and really, when you think about it, they were close, but then they weren't, you know? So she kind of felt like she couldn't even go help because it would feel intrusive, and Lana is so careful now that she's High Priestess, you know? She's like emotional and mental guards and barriers up too. So that was a fun surprise when I stumbled on those two. I didn't know this. Oh, I had another question. Gosh, anyway, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on Geralyn as High Priestess of the North. We know that Terry believes that she's influenced by demigods. Does anyone else have other thoughts around Geralyn?
I don't know if it's demigods, but there's got to be something going on there because it alluded to the fact that this has been going on for even longer.
Mm-hmm.
Some changes.
Samantha,
so
yeah,
I mean, and I don't know. You kind of almost wonder if maybe she was in cahoots with Jody, you know, to get Farrah out of the way. I don't know.
I just think she's an evil bitch.
I was literally just going to
Tell us
ask
how
that
you
to
really
Carl.
feel, Mike. If she died in one of the books, I'd be okay.
Oh, that was great. If she died.
No mincing words, Mike. That was good.
It's Mike, the trivia master right there. Yeah, she's pretty nasty. For sure.
But you know what? One of the things that I noticed though too, Katie, was when Samantha came to talk to Regina and she was saying that, oh, I saw this coming like a year ago. That was when Farrah got killed, and like Samantha, you know, alluded to.
Yeah.
But she started to allude to the more Gerlin thought about how Farah died, the more she didn't want to die that way. And that's why she thought if she had the power, she would have control over her own demise, which is way off base. Like Mike said, that's where she's at right now. But I mean, Mike could be an underlying fear. With that much power comes,
absolute power.
Paranoia.
Absolutely, right. Terry, it's you, my friend.
Yeah, the one thing that I remember when they're in the Inquisition, for lack of a better term, and she's noticing magic that she doesn't sense. The only way that people had that was if they were demigods. So I still go back to being.
So I can clear that up. So they cannot sense demigod magic. Bianca could as an amulet, but they couldn't sense it. But if there's a magic system from a grimoire that she's never used before, she wouldn't be familiar enough with the magic to sense it. So there could, in theory, be plenty of magic that Regina just isn't aware of, which just basically creates the assumption that Gerlin has gone out of her way to research deeply and find grimoires with magic that isn't known. But I'm not saying either is right or wrong. I'm just going to throw that out there for you.
Yeah. I mean, because Bianca used a lesser known magic when she was hiding in the Lost Magic to listen in on the
meeting. Yeah.
The meeting. That's the word I wanted. The meeting. So I mean, there is other magics that aren't as noticeable, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's just one avenue Gerlin would have to find different grimoires, or networks could like the protectors. They can hoard magic. So if they find a grimoire that they're like, we don't want this grimoire out there because then people could do this magic, we're just going to keep it. And if the network controls those grimoires, then they would control that type of magic, which is dangerous because then people could, like witches could use that magic and no one would know how to stop it or where it's coming from or how to sense it, right? So that is like a tool in their arsenal. And the protectors do that. Those rotten dirtbags. Like the protector thought magic that they have in the Brotherhood, no one else has because they hide their grimoire in the Great Library of Burke. So,
well, also when we're talking about magic, the little hearing things that Regina used.
No, the fun.
Oh yeah,
those are kind of cool.
Yeah. And then she was so PO'd. I've used you so often, and now you're going to now you're going to go out on me. Thanks a lot.
Not the way of it though. Like right, it's like technology. Right when you need it,
it doesn't work.
Right?
Yes, Carol. Right?
Yeah, Terry's got one. Terry's got one. I wasn't intentionally thinking about a hearing aid, but I guess it works, right? Did you guys were you guys surprised by Nadira as a character? I'm curious to see what you think about Nadira.
I like her.
I like her too. She wasn't afraid to speak up to her, to Gerlin. I mean, it was like, I'm going to tell you how it is.
She not only spoke up to her, but she arranged for that lunch.
Yeah.
Order her.
I'm sorry, but I loved her line. It was like when Regina said, "Would you?" and she said, "For the safety or the whatever of my network, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd put the dagger in her heart in a heartbeat."
Yeah, she says something like, "I'd do put the dagger in her heart myself," or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. Yep.
Nadira was a fun character. As she and I kind of got to know each other. I originally, there was a path in my head where Regina, because she's so well thought of, she kind of gets pushed into that position. But I was like, that's just not Regina.
It was just like it's not Derek.
Yeah, it's just not them.
Not administrative. They're more protective.
Yeah, than that. So I really liked Nadira and how she comes about. Nadira is quite fun in the finales too. I think you really like her. So good.
That's smart.
What are
Yes, the smirk and the evil laugh. She's
I
got
was
them
just going
both
to say,
down.
she's enjoying this since we've got to wait till.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Mike, which books have you been able to get your hands on so far that she keeps alluding to that you actually are sitting there and smirking too? I bet.
Mike's being comfortable.
Oh, I remember. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Too much sparkling water.
Sparkling water's gone. So I got to get something else.
Something strong.
Mike said he was above bribing, Gary. Garrett, you might have missed that. He said
Only
he was
for
above
me,
being
though.
bribed.
That's true.
Only for
Uh,
KW.
I mean, I don't know. Do you need a board, Mike? I mean, I can make one for you or something.
You
You
a
know,
trivia master board. That would be
Oh, cool.
I won, but
somebody's got to come up with the design.
I cannot be bribed.
Trivia master with a big question mark in the middle.
It's awesome.
Mike has read War of the Gods, and then there are surprises coming. He has read those. So
Rude.
he's ahead of everyone, but he has not yet read the finales. So there's that. But
Katie just loves it when she has surprises for us.
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys, this will
Well,
never
we love
end.
it.
We love it
When
when Katie has
I
surprises.
know.
for
I
us.
was like, this will never end. There will always be fun works ahead of us. Isn't that the coolest? Like every time we get on, there will be something fun to wait for. It's so awesome, especially when Isadora and Max get rolling. Man, do I have plans for them? They are. So,
Yay.
Can't wait.
so really, the big question about Regina is the romance between her and Derek.
Yahoo, baby.
Little steamy. Woo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as steamy as it gets over here.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that because it's not going to change. Sorry.
Good. Thank you.
Are you feeling like there's still a good match? I had people that have emailed me that are hesitant about Regina. They weren't really in love with her. That they were hoping. I don't think it's in on this call, but maybe they were just hoping that the Regina book gave them an insight that kind of made them love her. So I'm curious if there are people who are convinced by Regina, but like,
No.
I just loved her more after the book.
Yeah. They were not liking her after the book, or they were
no, after the Forgotten Gods and Derek, they were undecided on Regina, which is
I don't know how you could
totally
be. I don't
fine.
understand that.
I'm just curious if if there are people out there who are undecided.
I don't understand it because she's so badass. I just don't understand that. Like, I like her.
I mean,
Well, and if Debbie
I
likes
thought
her
maybe you were
again,
just upset
Regina's
with
taking
Regina.
Derek. I
I was
mean,
gonna say Debbie's given the stamp of approval here.
yeah.
I learned more about Regina in this book than I ever knew about her.
yes, that was. I'm glad that it came across that way because that was certainly one thing I wanted to show. I want to
Learning how
live in the turret, by the way, like the turret bedroom.
Oh man, I want that room. That's awesome.
Learning how she grew up should endear you to her. You know, I don't understand it.
In like 3 weeks, Debbie's gonna be like, I still don't understand it. I just like Regina. Rude, right?
Yeah, don't give me their email.
I loved that we had an opportunity to see what the other people in her network thought about her, and like how loved she is in her network, because I mean technically she's like the law, right? So she's like protects, and if you're not doing good things, she's gonna come and let you know you're not doing good things. So to still be able to do that and be as loved as she is in her community is amazing. That's awesome.
Especially as a female, right?
Yeah.
A medieval society, I think that's really kind of cool. Well, an advanced medieval society.
Yeah.
And I love that relationship. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Lila, and then Garrett.
I was just going to say, I love that relationship that all of them have together, you know, like in the scene where they all stand there and you know, and Wolfgang and all the others, and yeah, I just
love
and
Wolfgang.
it's kind of it's family. I know, I love Wolfgang too. So yeah, so it's like family. I love it.
Yeah, it is a lot like family.
when you do the finales, if you have something with Wolfgang, maybe you could have snacks.
Yeah, snacks. I have snacks. I'm hungry. That's excellent, Kim. Will you bring that in there?
So
When
fun.
I read about Wolfgang,
We should do a sticker. Wolfgang.
Oh gosh, yes.
Wolfgang sticker. I've already ordered them, but I could make one and then just send all of you a Wolfgang sticker. Maybe
that would be so fun.
He's wonderful. He's
Bring
so
snacks.
nice. Oh.
snacks. I loved it when he
With a
said that to
charcuterie
Derek.
board.
They're
You
like,
said that to Merrick?
like in the throne room, right? And he's like, you didn't even bring snacks. And Derek basically flips him off, right? Like, Garrett, what were you gonna?
That so reminds me of my grandson. I'm sorry, Garrett. So reminds me of my grandson because he's always, Grandma, can we have snacks? Can we have snacks now, Grandma?
Oh, mine too.
A small child, Wolfgang.
I'm sorry, Garrett, your turn.
Go ahead, Garrett.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm so happy that Jean Marie's on the right side this time. That's all. I'm glad. I'm glad that Jean Marie is on the right side this time. You know, welcome to the Winners Club.
Yeah, I had to come to the dark side. There was a little something on the other side.
We love you either way, Jean Marie.
Your patience is exemplary, Jean Marie. Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm glad you guys liked Wolfgang. He was really fun comic relief. I think my favorite line of his is when he finally realizes she's been stealing his good Ipsum.
I loved it.
Like banging on the door. That was maybe my favorite. Terry, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to say the one thing I liked about the end, towards the end, is when Regina starts to realize that two things. One, that she doesn't have to worry about competing against Marie. And two,
She's not alone.
She's capable of being a good friend with Bianca. Even though Derek hasn't said anything yet, I think that she's got to that point where I think it won't make any difference one way or the other. But I think that Bianca will accept her.
I mean, really, Regina had to sort of reckon with Marie at some point, right? Like, there had to be a moment where Regina came to terms with the fact that she's not the only or first woman in Derek's life. She's really the third, because Marie Bianca, right? And she was going to have to grapple with that and grapple with Marie a little bit. And I wanted it in this book because that needs to come before she grapples with Bianca, so to speak. You know, like who Bianca is to Derek, so she can kind of accept that and they can coalesce if it's going to happen, kind of thing. So I'm glad that that was a point that stuck out for you, because that was really important for Regina, like, to experience and move into, for sure.
Yep.
Did you were you surprised when Nadira, or when Regina found out that Nadira had asked
the
Derek
Patriot?
to help?
Oh, had what?
The Patriot. That Nadira asked Derek to help, like, figure out what was going on.
No.
Not that it was a
really.
surprise. I think everybody realizes that Derek has all of our Kara
In his heart?
Like,
in his heart. So I mean, of
like,
course,
you need,
Central Network
you need
is
a job
obviously-
done, you call him.
Well,
Yeah.
no, right?
Who are you gonna call?
Yeah, seriously.
Honor, integrity, all that stuff, you know, you can rely on him. He's like, yeah, super honest.
I think that came through actually with Regina too. So their traits are very similar because, you know, Regina, I mean, obviously she loves the North, but she's willing to do for all of our Kara to make sure, you know, so I think that's where their traits are so much alike.
Well, and it was really wise on Nadira's part, because Nadira is proving, even before she ascends the throne, that she's trying to work with other networks, and she's gonna do anything she has to like get rid of Garland, right? So even if that means going outside her network to a loved and like trusted witch, that's just proving that she's willing to work where Garland won't. Like, Garland just doesn't want to work or be part of the other networks, and more of that will come out. But
So did you just give us a spoiler? Nadira does ascend the throne?
That's what I was just
you
thinking,
guys
Gene.
Really?
Well,
think I'm gonna let Garland stay?
I was gonna say, it was
No,
brought
but
out-
I'm hoping you kill her off in War of the Gods.
I'm with you, Debbie.
Well, so there's two questions there. First of all, Nadira is taking every action assuming that she's going to win, right? So to Nadira, there's no losing. She's getting rid of her. So that's her thought. But also, like, do you really think I'm going to let Garland live? The question, question is, how is this going down, right? And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not what you expect.
Yeah.
Because even I was like, where the crap did that come from? And it was like 4 a.m, and I was staring at the computer and I was like, am I still asleep? like, where did this idea come from? But then I ran with it and I was like, oh, this is good.
Well, it's alluded to at the end of Regina anyway, because
yeah, I
when
was gonna
Samantha
say, it
comes to
was-
talk to Regina, Samantha says, no, I'm not that type of person. I will not ascend the throne. Nadira will.
Yeah, I mean,
That
Samantha
happened.
puts it out.
We're
Like,
trying to
well,
find a way to get her out quietly,
Mm.
say, to have her do it on her own. But if she doesn't, you know, it's alluded to that she.
so that is
If-
the plan, like going
Mm.
into the books forward, that Nadira will take over. Samantha's like, I don't want it. Like, that's what she's telling Regina. So I did want the readers to know that the plan is Nadira, not Samantha. She's kind of like, this is not my shtick. I've been sitting in the back. I don't want to be part of this anymore. The question is, how?
The other question to that is not
And
only how, but is
maybe
if it's
not so
successful.
quietly.
Say that again, Lila. You're cutting out just a little bit.
Oh, it'll be successful. It's not so like it's out of context now.
What were you saying though, Layla? What'd you say? Or is it too out of context? Is that what you're saying?
About the getting rid of her. Yeah, it's out of context now. Wait, getting rid of her, maybe not so quietly.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Geralyn's interesting. So Jean Marie, you were saying that the question is whether it will be successful, right?
Right. So it was alluded to, but you've just kind of sort of confirmed that it will be successful.
Potentially. I mean, it's all about the how, right?
As she
Right.
Yeah.
Kenton's
There
I
you go.
feel
Oh,
she's
you have dragons
confirmed it.
board, Michael. You turkey.
At least we called you a turkey and not a Geralyn.
I didn't call you a Geralyn, so
Look at him
Yeah.
so happily sipping away.
And you
there's
know what?
that.
to interrupt, Carol, because I had a chance to go to Spearfish today because my wife is running the marathon out there tomorrow morning, but I stayed home.
Oh,
I know I'm a bastard.
well, we'll just be talking about this, Michael.
So I have to say though, I think one of my favorite scenes in Regina is when Derek surprises her at the end when he comes and he's at the door and it's not
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
mad at her. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this was not good, and he's mad at her, and I really, that was one of my favorite scenes. So
Going back to Wolfgang, Katie,
Yeah.
when you said your favorite one, my favorite, my favorite one, and I laughed so hard. You know, after she doesn't answer the door when Wolfgang knocks, and then he goes, "Oh, I didn't mean it. I'm only going to maim you. I'm not going to kill you." That's how it died. It was like, oh, Wolfgang, dude, are you going to bring snacks to that too? Or what?
Hilarious. Lunch.
Wolfgang
Got
is
snacks?
he's always been in my head that way. He's always just been very clever and really funny. I really want to do a book just for Wolfgang.
He's just so great. I even now, because you know how I like my snacks. I'm always now, I'm just going, come
Got
on, Wolfgang,
snacks?
let's go snack.
Did someone already bring up that a sticker or t-shirt should say "Got Snacks?" ?
That's what I think tonight. I think I'm gonna make a sticker and have them priority send it, and I'll just give it to everyone. It'll be the
Oh, that
surprise. I'll do a surprise sticker, and it'll be a Wolfgang one. Like I'll do the
Surprise.
one of them. He's just too funny to pass up. Stickers will be fun. Speaking of the Patriot,
Do we get to see more of him?
yeah, I really want to do a story for Wolfgang. I
Oh.
really do. And I have, oh my gosh, you guys, I have in my head this really funny romance, but I don't know where it would fit. Like, I'm not sure. However, I don't know if I should tell this yet because I'm not going to be long.
Wolfgang and Celia.
I'm trying to think of who it could be.
Spoilers.
Katie.
This isn't a
Wolfgang
spoiler.
and Celia.
I came up with an idea, and it's a really good idea, and we're gonna start implementing it.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about. You're gonna start implementing it. I don't know when. Maybe September. Maybe
Couple
November.
weeks.
I don't know. Don't say that, Debbie. Um, I'm gonna start a new series of books, and they are going to be called the Reader Request series. And they're just gonna be short stories that readers can request, and then I'll put their name on the cover, requested by, and then I will just launch these short stories as I have them available or as they're requested. So we're gonna make like a Google form that you can just submit requests anytime. And then when I have like an opening in my writing skills or whatever, I'll pull one that sounds really fun, and then we'll just launch it, and it'll just be like a surprise.
What about it?
Number 2 in the reader's request, yay! And then you can submit requests and get your name on it and stuff. So we're gonna be starting that pretty soon, and they'll be like, I mean, they're gonna be like short stories. They're not gonna be novellas. Although I say that, I have one that's 9,000 words. So. You know, so they'll be like 99 cents. They're going to be like just a surprise. Hey, here's a short story you can read that readers have been requesting. I had a reader request the Bianca and Merrick romance from Merrick's point of view. Did you guys see that post in the Witchery?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds so fun. And that's where the idea came. So I threw it to the team and they approved. It was a 5, not a 1.
I still say that the Casey one is because you're number 1.
That will earn you a slot as my favorite quite often. Anyway, so we could do Wolfgang. I have a Wolfgang really funny romance in my head. He just needs someone to love him.
Okay, I'm going to officially request a Wolfgang.
Okay.
You just want your name on the front, Lila?
And I know who can play Wolfgang.
Wolfgang and Celia.
It's Max.
I know
Yeah, that's
who can play
true.
Wolfgang. We
Katie?
just have to age him a little bit.
Who?
Who?
Vin Diesel.
Diesel?
No.
His hair. He has
He has hair.
We can give him hair.
But Wolfgang is pretty good.
Wolfgang has hair,
What were
right?
you saying,
We can
Debbie?
give him a hair. We can put a wig on the man.
No, not Vin Diesel. I don't.
Diane's like, no.
No.
Well, how about Hulk Hogan then? Come on, let's
Oh
go.
gosh.
No, that's worse.
No. No.
Anyway,
He's got black curly hair.
Debbie had something.
Yeah.
Wolfgang and Celia because he wants the Cinnabons.
What?
Snacks.
Oh, the cinnamon buns.
We can't introduce Wolfgang to Celia because then she'll just have to make her cinnamon for him all the time. Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
I like that. It's funny.
Okay, but we have to talk about the Patriot. Who was surprised at the Patriot reveal? No.
Yeah, I think we
Oh,
can kind of see that one coming.
You did see
I
that
have
one?
no idea who it was. I was
started
wondering
out
if it
thinking
was Derek for a while, but
Terry, what you got?
My first thought was it was actually Samantha. I thought it was the sister, Samantha.
Me too.
Oh,
I-
yeah,
I
thought
wondered.
that
I
too.
wondered for a little while.
That is what
Yeah.
I thought you would think. I was like, they're gonna think it's Samantha. So I remember talking to, so you, Mike? I can't remember. I was talking to someone and I was like, yeah, it was Mike. I was like, it cannot be Samantha. He was like, why? I was like, because everyone thinks it's Samantha. Like, we gotta do something else. And it just seemed too obvious. Like, she's so quiet. No one knows about her. Of course, she's the hidden patriot. And I wanted is something totally different. I actually pondered Wolfgang for a while. And I tried it, but it just didn't work.
Well, I think you leaned towards Samantha or wanted us to, just because, I mean, you know, there was inside information that not everyone
Nobody
would
else
have been
had.
privy to.
Sure it
So,
did.
yeah.
For sure it did. There's actually more.
Well, there were points in there that made you think Wolfgang.
Mhm.
I mean, like, especially like there towards the end too. Like, I was like, yeah, Wolfgang. No, I'm wrong.
I also suspected Merrick's sister.
Really?
I did, because
Oh, nice.
she was in the castle when things were coming out of the castle, because she's now working in the castle, right? So I kind of suspected her for a little bit too.
I will say, Jean Marie, that's interesting, and more is coming.
I'm not surprised. Because she also has the insight to Regina because of how close Regina was to her father, right? So she knows like how well Regina works and everything. So, and she's already like a close family friend, which is why I kind of suspected her.
All I'm saying is more is coming.
Okay.
But I feel like it worked really well that Nadira was the patriot, just because it just helped you feel like, I mean, it was Nadira. Like as I was planning it out, I was like, it needs to be Nadira. It's what Nadira would do, and it just shows her level of commitment to this. Like she's doing it, right? Like she's pulling all the stops to beat Geraldine at her own game in whatever way she can. And then Samantha, but really, Samantha saved the day, right? Samantha came to them like at the last moment and said, I'm willing to help. And that's when they acted and were able to change the tide. But up until that point, she didn't always have that, like that direct connection with Samantha, right? So Samantha might have been supplying information anonymously, but eventually she kind of came out and said, okay, like I am finally ready to make sure my sister doesn't like do what she's about to do, because Samantha is just a little more afraid of like her personality. She just has more fear around acting. She's just not as forward as her sisters. But I loved the whole patriot character. I thought that was a really fun angle to the story. Well,
It's also, Katie, going to be like, I mean, if it comes out when obviously, hopefully Geraldine's dead, but when she's made the high priestess, I mean, and people find out, I mean, because they're thronging around the patriot. When they find out that she's the patriot, that's going to solidify her role.
I love Nadira.
Yeah.
And you know what I also love? I love the way that in Regina, all the characters, except of course Geraldine, like all the characters are, and the horrible like ambassador. But
Oh yeah. I hate him
but
too.
all the
He
others,
could die
it's
too.
like it's not like there is one hero. It's like they're all heroes. Like they're all working together all the time. And even like, you know, when they're doing their job, they're still going, yeah, they're supporting the patriot, even though they're still doing the job and everything and looking for the patriot. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's really cool.
I love that. There's a real sort of everybody's in there.
Well, in the North
Help
will
it.
need that to like recoup, right? Like if they get rid of Geraldine.
The one thing I missed, and maybe it was, maybe I read it and I listened to it twice, but
Yeah.
have you covered how Regina went from the orphanage to being a master? I mean, we see that Dylan was her mentor, but how did she get from the orphanage to the master program?
She was a hot mess. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Like that
it's
story.
just that, you know, that would be my request. That would be what my request would be to see. I didn't hear what you mouthed.
I said you can request it now.
Okay, I will read a request. How the hell did she get from here to there?
It is such a great program. I'm really excited about this reader request thing because you guys are basically giving me what you want. That's perfect. And I know I actually really
until there's 500 of them, and then you're gonna be like, oh shit.
no, I'm just gonna I will just wallow in the happiness because it's eternal stories, right? And that's all. Like I can just write forever in the same world with the people I love. It's the best. I actually am really interested in Regina's origin story, so to speak, myself. Like especially in working with Dylan, because, and we'll talk about Dylan. I love the concept of Dylan, and I kind of want to see Dylan as well. So someone request Dylan. And we'll do a Dylan story too, because I think it'd be interesting to kind of see her go. I know what she struggled with, and I know what her hopes were, and we know where she landed, but I don't have like the whole story laid out yet. So that's a really good.
And we really don't know how Dylan passed away either, do we?
Yeah, he died hiking
Did
with
he
Merrick,
fall?
wasn't it? He fell, yeah. No.
That's the same story as saying that Farah died of
Died
a,
of a fever. Yep, Terry,
Mike.
right on the same line.
What did he die? It's part of the network.
He
Oh,
and
he
Merrick
fell.
were out. They were out
They were
fishing or
hiking,
hunting or
right?
something, and Merrick ended up breaking his leg or
I
something.
think there was lightning.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Mike,
I'll request his story though. I want to know about Dylan.
Mhm.
Mike, do you remember?
I do not.
It's all good. It's
Oh, no.
More of,
He doesn't remember.
I know right where it's at. I know
Mhm.
what to type in to search. I do this all the time.
Yeah, because I thought he fell. I thought it was when she was walking with Merrick when they were going to his family and he said something. I thought.
Wasn't there like
I
a
know
flood?
he and Merrick were together.
There was like a flood. Merrick got hurt or something like that, and then
Yeah.
or maybe Dylan got hurt, and then Merrick went for help, but he couldn't get her. I don't know, something like that, because Merrick was
No,
young.
it was Merrick that got hurt. Merrick broke his leg or something.
Okay,
It
why
was
do I
on-
not
or he
remember
couldn't-
this?
and he couldn't
where
help
is
his
this?
dad get out.
I don't
I know,
remember it.
I'm thinking the same, Debbie.
Oh, right here.
Katie's looking.
He said, I was 15 when my father died. Where did it go? Oh, he's talking about Wolfgang training him.
You could put Dylan and Wolfgang in the same.
I know. Wouldn't that be awesome? Dylan and Wolfgang together.
That would be awesome.
That'd be so cheeky. Can you imagine what they'd get up to?
Oh, right here. Nope, that was Anna. Sorry. Somebody dead.
Because for some reason Merrick believes the reason that Wolfgang wanted to get him out of the Northern is because Merrick keeps thinking that both Anna and his father's deaths were his fault.
I'm looking in short stories. Hold on, I'm looking at short stories from the network series because I think that's where Wolfgang goes and talks to Merrick and Callie.
Okay, which reminds me, the other day I was doing much of nothing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to something," and I threw that in, thinking I can listen to short stories; it'll be all cool. Yeah, I sat here and bawled the whole time. I'm like, is there one story in here that's not gonna make me bawl?
What did you listen to?
Short stories from the network.
Oh, yeah, don't listen to that one. Nope.
I thought it was in it's in the network series when Bianca finds out after she's been rescued, when Merrick and Derek rescue her and she's still up in the Northern Network.
Yeah, no, I'm there. They're on top of his house, right?
Yeah.
Talking, but he's not saying how he died.
Oh.
Because they're on the roof and he's talking about Anna and he talks about his father dying. He says, thanks for coming. I owe you an explanation. She says, you don't owe me anything. And he says, I was 15 when my father died. My anger spiraled out of control. My father wanted me to be a master. So did I. So he'd been teaching me. And then once my father died, Wolfgang continued my training. I'm like, maybe I didn't say.
No, you do say. I thought
Yeah,
there was something there. There's something. I just can't remember where. Because when we were doing all of the crosswords and everything, I know I read it again, but I can't.
In Alcara Awakening, because I thought she asks him at one point, and he's really vague about it, you know? Let me look through Alcara.
I say somebody tell me where to find it because I absolutely don't even remember reading it. I'm like sitting here lost, going, "Wait, I don't remember even."
I don't
reading
remember it at all. Yeah.
Well, the problem is I killed Dylan a couple ways before I settled on it, so I can't remember what I put in the book. I mean, this was like 10 years ago that I was thinking it up. I'll figure it out and then I'll put it in. Well, I probably shouldn't put it in the Witchery, huh? I'll put it in the chat. Are you guys in the chat?
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's in the High Priest Daughter. I don't know. I'll look. It's somewhere. Oh wait. Here it is. It was in Alcara Awakening.
When he gave her Vivi, wasn't he talking about it?
Is that where? It's
I
where
thought
he's like getting real about it. But I see a mistake. in Alcara Awakening, he says he was 12, but in the short story, or in More of the Networks, I think he says he's 15.
Yeah.
He needs to fix that. So it was on. He says my father died when I was 12, on my birthday, no less. We were hiking a mountain and a storm came in. I didn't know how to transport yet, so we had to hike back down. The rain moved in so fast we could hardly see. When you're that high, the hair on your arm stands up before the lightning strikes, and the thunder is so loud you can't hear yourself think. We started back for home right away, but a flash flood swept through the mountains when we were halfway down. I woke up the next morning lying on a rock. I couldn't find my father anywhere. My leg was broken, so I couldn't move. I sat on the rock waiting to be found.
Told you,
waking up. He went home. He said by the time he got home and his leg was healing, he found out his father was dead.
I thought you could take
How did he
people
die?
along when you transport.
Yeah, but like that was my second book, so I didn't know what was going on.
Oh,
They weren't doing that then.
Yeah, that wasn't cool, Garrett. But really,
so
They
you
hadn't
gave
learned
yourself
all
a
that stuff yet,
limitation.
Garrett.
You gave yourself a limitation, and then you broke it.
no. He just no. What happened is there was a flash flood, and Merrick was separated
Yeah.
from his father, and he broke his leg.
Right.
Father died. The problem is, why didn't they just transport out of there? I don't know why, Garrett. But it could be.
Yeah.
Maybe he's still
Yeah,
alive. He's still
I
alive.
want a book. I want a book for the reason why.
Well, you can
whole
read and
book for
request
that.
that now, Garrett.
A whole book
That
for
one's
that
going to the
reason?
back of the pile.
I will say that there's a lot of space there for what actually happened, right? Like there
Yeah.
was someone else trying to like get revenge on Dylan, and Merrick was just caught in the crossfire, and they don't find out till later.
That could be in Dylan's story.
Yes, it better be, because he's gonna die. So sorry, Dan. Because if he wasn't, then I'd be pretty upset for Callie, like who's been living without him for all these years. So yeah. Also, while we're talking about Dylan, any thoughts on Dylan before we wrap all this up?
Well, I like the way Merrick said when they were talking, and you're an annoying little brother. Well, you're an annoying big sister. And she mentioned Dylan. He says, I'm not my father. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in his deepest heart of hearts, he loves being compared to his father, but yet he wants to be his own man.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's for like Merrick, he lives in the shadow of his father always in his network, and maybe that's not a bad thing until it is, right? Where Regina's not letting him grow because of his father's memory. That's when it's time to kind of start breaking cords, which Merrick might have to do if such allegiance is required in the future through Nadira and stuff. Yeah, Terry.
Before we close this, I had one in Regina. My biggest fear was that Geraldine was going to go in and kill Regina's mom and dad. She was because
yeah, she's being that ruthless.
I was just gonna say, Katie's face is.
I'm just saying the story's not over, Terry. Still
got no.
I know.
Oh no.
Pretty bad. Carolyn's bad, and it gets worse.
Oh no.
Katie, I have to say I don't like it when you abuse children. Just
when you didn't like anything about the network series. Because Bianca was basically abused the whole time by Mabel.
True, but she fought
Who was
back.
abused by May.
Yeah,
she had the powers to fight back, and she had people at her back. I mean, if it happens in the story, it happens in the story. But you know,
Carol, what happens? I'm just not pleased.
I mean, how many of you are like mandatory reporters on here? Like, we've got teachers, we've got nurses. I mean, do we need to call somebody, Katie, or
please file for my characters? Okay. I don't know. So anyone outside the U.S., I don't know if you have mandatory reporting laws, but there's
Yeah.
I do.
Good.
Yep, I have to.
Yeah, no, none of that stuff. I mean, Geraldine's diabolical, but there's a way to present that, right? I'm no Diana Alden. I don't know if you guys read the Outlander series, but man, that woman doesn't hold back. If you've read those books, she does not hold back. That's not what we do here to that extent,
right?
But
I mean,
will
look
say,
at the Hunger
Carrie,
Games.
the story isn't over.
Yeah.
So
Hate the Hunger Games.
I like the little tax collector lady too. She was cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was cute.
She was fun. I was like, let's do a fun tax collector.
Yeah.
I loved the way she called Regina back and she said, I got this notice and I don't want it anywhere in here from the paper. Please take this away.
I love my characters. They're so fun.
She was so cute.
Yeah, they're really fun. There's some really fun characters in the north. I really want to hang out more there. I just think they're really interesting. And more to come. There's just some really fun people. And I would really like, I think it'd be fun to do a series on the Masters, maybe like a different time period, but having like focusing on the Masters instead of like the Brotherhood or something, like just go to the Northern Network aspect and what they do and how it's different, I think would be really interesting too. So anyway, I have a lot of ideas. It's a problem. It's a really big problem. Well, any final thoughts? Anything you guys want to say you loved or you hated or you want to talk about before we close this out?
I love the whole suspenseful, thrilling read all the way through.
Thanks, Dana.
Amen, Dana.
They're all
job.
very different. They're all very different because Lita, it's wonderful in a different way, right?
So good.
Yeah.
And when is Lita coming out again?
Soon.
We get it Friday.
Next month.
Oh, you guys
You
haven't
get
read
it
it?
Friday? Did
Mike,
somebody
no,
say-
Mike, we haven't.
Well, she,
Mike's getting that laugh as bad as Katie.
yeah.
You will all develop it one day. Yeah, so we're not announcing it, but I'm happy to tell you guys here that Lita will be launched this upcoming Friday. So we're doing it a week early so that we can do fun stuff, and I don't have it while I'm at Dragon Con in 2 weeks. So I'll be in downtown Atlanta just running my brains out from panel to panel, and I don't have to worry about you guys not having me while we launch Lita. So we're gonna surprise everyone and have a surprise launch next Friday, and Lita's coming out, and it is much, much anticipated. I think this is the novella I've heard the most from readers. They're most excited about because so many people want to understand Lita better, and I think the book delivers in that way. Like I feel like you get to know Lita better and how she thinks and what she thinks. What do you look?
That means
I
the
was
launch
watching
team
Mike.
gets it.
I was gonna say I might watch
Watching
this
Mike.
space too.
Yeah.
Mike, what
I
did you do?
I did have to smirk a little bit though, Katie, when you put your Pinterest, some of your Pinterest pictures on, because I'm thinking Lita's desk would have never looked like that.
Oh, that one, that was horrible.
Oh, was it a messy desk?
Yeah,
Yeah, that thing you sent, I think today, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't logged into Facebook. Like we schedule posts sometimes like a month out. So
Yeah, it was just a messy desk. Now that Lita's desk would never look like that.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so if you're officially launching it Friday, when does the launch team get it?
Friday.
Road.
I am busy finishing the finales and War of the Gods. So
And the high
Katie,
priestess.
are we gonna get, are they gonna get the word searches all at one time then? Or how are you gonna
no,
do
so
that?
we have it set up the exact same way. The word searches are still going out. It'll just be after after.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
Yeah. So the first word search comes out Friday and then goes through the next 7 days. They can opt in to receive them if they want it, or not. We'll be finalizing that this week. So all will be the same. We're just pushing the actual book delivery up a week so that people can read it and I can be there for the coffee with Katie and see if there's any issues and that kind of stuff. Normally it's been going off since we consolidated the launch team to pre-ordering the same and changed some other stuff. We've had relatively few issues with delivery, and a lot of the issues with delivery that we're facing are just email servers that are punks, so BookFunnel and I have been working together to perfect and hone it on their side, because there's a function in BookFunnel where if you pre-order the book, they collect the information and then they send you an email, because sometimes BookFunnel emails go out but mine don't, like for email servers. Like some email servers will take BookFunnel but not mine, so we try to send the delivery emails as best we can so everyone gets their books. But now I've been talking to them, they're actually going to, like, we've had some books up for pre-order for like 8 months, but those pre-orders weren't collected, so now we can retroactively do it. So we're working with them to like find ways to make sure it delivers, but I just like to be there on launch day to make sure everyone gets it when they want it. So yeah, I'm excited for it to go out Friday just because so many people are excited to read about Lita. And the swag is awesome. Like, I can't get over the candles. You guys are going to love the candles. They're so fun. The new book smell and then like library smell, I think is what it is. It's just brilliant. Like, whoever knows made these like knows book readers, right? Like,
If we don't win, can you put up where you ordered them from? So if we want to order one, we can.
of course. I only ordered 2, but now I'm like, I should have done like 5. 'Cause-
Well, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should get one to just light at night because my wife has a hard time sleeping, and whenever she looks at a book, she falls asleep damn near. So I'm thinking maybe that'll help her sleep at night.
well, then you could.
There we go. A remedy for Lindsay. There we go.
You could read the ebook, but burn the candle and feel like the paperback sensation, right? Like you get the smell, but on your Kindle or your e-reader. Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a
That's
good
an
thought.
awesome
Kim.
idea.
I have to get 2 because I want to burn one and not burn one. I want one to save.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get rid of the good stuff. Well, everyone, thanks for meeting tonight. This was so fun. I love book clubs. I appreciate all of the insights and feedback, and I love that other people find my characters as real as I do. Like,
I love my t-shirt. Love my t-shirt.
yay, t-shirt!
You love your t-shirt.
I'm so glad it got there quick.
And they always look great. It didn't come by dinghy.
It didn't come by ding. That's funny.
Thanks, Katie. I gotta go.
All right, see you, Dana. It was good to see you guys. Love you all. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, guys.
We'll see you a bunch
Thanks,
of
Take care,
Katie.
guys.
Monday.
All right.
Good to see everyone.
Good to see you.